Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Back for another match of the RGL season. Kind of getting back into the weeks with some more teams gone. We're back, but this is a slobber knocker right here. We got Anglerfish versus GlobalClan, and I'm here with TC Mono. How you doing?
I am doing great. Like you said, hopefully this should be a very good game. GlobalClan versus Anglerfish. Both of them sitting round about the same in terms of scores in the RGL season so far. And you look at the wins that they've gotten, it's only been against teams who have already fallen, have not been able to make it through the season. So for, I think, both of these guys, they're looking at this match as probably one of the few matches that they could maybe win. I don't want to say legitimately because, surviving is the first way to win. So they did legitimately get those wins. But, first a actual in-match game that they might have a chance at winning here. Though I will say that I think it was GlobalClan had a very, very close game. A bit too close if you are a fan of The Wall, against The Wall, actually, a couple nights ago on Snakewater. So, there's still a chance for one of these teams to try and get an upset. But for them, this is definitely one of the matches that they want to both try and win. They've got a good opportunity at getting it here, so it should be very exciting, very close for both of these guys.
I looked at it and I saw both teams are 2-4, 2-5, and then look, the forfeit win. So this will be a good start to their season if for one of these teams that eventually get, like you said, that in-game win. But I'm excited to see both these teams kind of go at it. A lot of old, new names all combined all over the place, and Anglerfish kind of a team that's been floating around Invite a lot, and the GlobalClan organization, where I think a lot of these players are excited to get into this game. And like you said, that very, very close game GlobalClan did have against The Wall, which I remember just poking into a stream and seeing it was that close and just being very confused. But it looks like GlobalClan's not a slash, especially on this exact map.
Yeah, on this map, they've had a few games actually. Their first match of the season actually was on Snakewater. It was against Black Swan. They did lose that one pretty convincingly, 4-1. I think we might have casted that one. I forget. It was a while ago, but it was a pretty convincing win for Black Swan. I think we did cast it, and but then again versus The Wall, a lot closer of a showing. So if they keep getting better every time they play the map, it would seem to believe that they've got a very good opportunity, a very good chance at beating Anglerfish tonight. And I just looking at the roster, like you said, a lot of very experienced players on GlobalClan. You're talking about Anglerfish being around for a while. A lot of these players have been around for a while. Maybe not as a unit like Anglerfish has. Anglerfish has kind of been Anglerfish for a while. But GlobalClan, Esper, Peniferous, Pablo, on the previous GlobalClan, just a season or two ago, Umst as well, all players who have had a lot of experience in Invite, playing on various teams throughout seasons past. And then you also have kind of newer players like Taz, who is someone when we did cast him last time on Snakewater, I was very impressed with. He made a lot of kind of great opening plays being a roamer, especially in Invite. His first season at Invite, he was still being able to have an impact, kind of get on the med and also just be a nuisance, not just kind of throw away his life, willy-nilly. So very, very cool to see him there. But they actually have someone coming in, I believe, to replace him, who has a lot more experience under his belt, Soapy Meister of Like a G6 fame, which will only be an upgrade. No shade to Taz at all, but when you've got an Invite winner, an Invite LAN champion, as you would know, Marmaloo, it can help out a lot.
Yeah, and it's I don't think he'll take it as an insult, but for Taz, but Soapy definitely a great player to get to substitute, being on that pocket role. But a lot of the times there is a lot of similarities between the roles, but I think he'll fit just fine. I think it's going to be a lot on the side of Anglerfish to really step up and not really be intimidated by maybe having some bigger name players like Soapy. You've seen some scratches and Invite playoffs and some of these other Invite vets, while you have some guys who've been kind of near the lower end and kind of fighting up to get to middle Invite and been really grinding it out, which I love to see. And especially seeing someone like Unicorn Wizard, who I have seen playing since I've been playing. And he's back and he's playing Invite again.
Yeah, a lot of, like you said, a lot of older players kind of coming out for this game here. It's interesting. I think on Anglerfish, they were kind of rumors of maybe Vio and the Great Mage swapping roles, but I think they've swapped back because it looked like Vio was most recently on Pocket Scout and the Great Mage on Flank, which makes more sense. I think just a little bit Vio, obviously from Rome fame, and then previously before that, Sweaty Spaghetti making their rise throughout RGL now here, kind of mashing up a little bit of a monster mash over on Anglerfish. A few players from Rome combining up with the core combo, actually, of just the regular Anglerfish squad. So they're, like you said, definitely willing to, put in the grind, but I am going to press you for a prediction as we are about to go live here. Make sure you guys put your predictions in chat, but Marmalou, how do you think this is going to play out?
I think it's a little tough to bet against GlobalClan right here. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say 3-2 GlobalClan.
Ooh, you know what? I also think GlobalClan are going to take this partially because of if they can do what they did, versus the wall, I think they're going to have a very good opportunity, very good chance at taking this against Anglerfish. I'm going to say, why not 5-4? I would love to see it
back and forth
on Snakewater. Maybe a little bit ambitious, maybe a lot ambitious, but we're going to have to see as we go live right here. Anglerfish versus GlobalClan on Snakewater. Both of these teams trying to get a win on another team for the first time in this RGL season. Hopefully they can do it here tonight. One of them can. We're gonna have to see, as gonna be watching Mig on his rollout to the first mid. Just gonna be spamming Snickies over towards Peniferous. And the question is anyone gonna go for a kind of fast double bomb here? All eyes on Soapy Meister, maybe to be the initiator here, but instead it's going to be Golden. He goes in for the bomb, trying to land onto the medic. Dinko doing nice to stay alive there. Same thing for Ali on the other side. Takes a lot of damage, but he's gonna have to go back into Saw to get some health. Everyone else on the side of Anglerfish aggressing across the point. They have so much presence on this point right here. You see Esper maybe wants to try and take it in, catches a pipe, is gonna have to back up Scratch, finds one on the flank, and that should be enough. They have the player advantage, and with Peniferous getting one last lock and load kill on the Vio, they've definitely won mid, but the question is, can they get anything more?
Yeah, the sniper already coming out trying to defend this point. There's only 3 players up onto even Ubers, and this will be pretty hard for them to stop this sniper from really peeking out. And it's going to be on these soldiers that are just kind of getting here to lock out the doors. And they've done a really, really good job of locking it all out, even though they had no cap time on mid. And it looks like they're going to turn that mid fight win into a kind of last stalemate here. But that mid, little scrappy, both teams doing some soldier bombs and kind of getting nothing, so it turns into that scrappy fight there that GC GlobalClan kind of cleanly picks up here. But right now, Spy just checking the off classes. It looks like there's nothing too crazy on the side of GlobalClan, but Unicorn Wizard getting picked off is really going to open up this last, where this gun is very powerful, but as soon as it goes down, all hell will break loose.
It will. In fact, they're going to use the Uber. I think the medic Dinko Godforce, he goes down super low, so using in fear of his life. They do find one in Golden, but I don't really think that was worth it, considering that they don't have Uber, so both Ubers have been forced out. Very weak over and lower is going to barely be able to get out there. So I guess a really good job from Peniferous, dying, but was able to get the force out. But because there's no demo, none of these doorways going to be watched. Ali might be disconnected from his demo. Mig is going to go down. Great Mage super low over. They're going to have to back out from second. They tried to push out when they realized there was no demo, but they got stuffed because of it. And now they're going to be 2 players down.
Yeah, just witnessed jump into 3 people, take no damage, and get a demo pick. And now, so they're trying to get in through the doors. The right side is entirely free. Down goes Golden, the cap time coming out. And this looks like a very clean round on the side of GlobalClan. And even though it was kind of a mid to last scenario, they did not do themselves any favor on that push out there. But looking to see, hopefully, them have some more aggression on this mid, and hopefully it goes a little bit better.
Yeah, like you said last time, the soldier bombs didn't really work out for either team. It was the last stage, or the fight later in that round, that kind of really secured the mid for them. So we're gonna have to see if maybe the soldiers have a little bit more success on their initial bombs. But Mig just gonna be tossing some stickies around All eyes Golden was the initiator last time. Let's see if he goes early again, but no, this time everyone just happy to play the spam game a little bit. Great Mage taking a little bit of high ground control over on the left side there. No one really going for it. Everyone just maybe waiting for enough damage to be done for the call to be made, or to just do a counter bomb instead. Scratch goes down fairly weak. It's going to have to get an arrow. Now Golden is going to go in, lands on Dinko. Doesn't do that much damage, but Dinko, nice surf actually to stay alive. Should be able to live throughout this mid. Once again, Vio on the high ground is going to be able to take down Soapymeister, but it's only him and Ali, and they're going to have to get out another mid one in the favor of GlobalClan.
Yeah, and just a good double bomb synced up from the side of Anglerfish, but nothing really coming from it. Soapy getting a nice kill and the win coming on the side. Just very slow mid, both scouts in the mid, staying alive on GlobalClan, and just making sure to absorb that aggression and really just win the mid in the long run. The one downside about Mig running that quickie bomb, which he's known for, is that it really doesn't have that staying power to deny doors. So if GlobalClan ends up just pushing, he's not going to be able to stuff them out very well with only having 4 stickies, but it's pretty good for sniping it out. We have even Ubers right in this mid-second stalemate. Here comes a soldier, a decent amount of damage from Soapy on the med, but nothing comes of it, and that counter sack or any play is going to have to come quick, and quick it comes with a sticky trap death.
Unfortunate for Golden there, but like you said, you do have to be very quick on it. You want to do it before the soldier respawns. Now we're going to have another soldier bomb coming in, and not going to be able to make anything happen there. They do take a little bit of space over in lower, but that's going to lead to Esper dying there. Now they're going to be down 2, and an opportunity maybe for Anglerfish to try and pressure in. Unicorn Wizard wants to get in through a lower, is taking too much damage. There is going to be a scout over in the backlines. It is the Great Mage. They have spotted him. Question is he going to be able to do anything, or is he just a free pick? Soapymeister makes it a free pick, so now tides have been turned. It's going to be 3 down on the side of Anglerfish. An opportunity for GlobalClan to basically walk in for free.
And just a sloppy kind of move there with everyone on the team kind of having a different idea. I did really like seeing what the Great Mage was doing, but with Unicorn Wizard going in first, Mig getting caught out with the bow, it all falls apart. A sack coming in from a lot of damage out. Doesn't look like it's going to convert into much. Very weak on the side of 2 players. Gonna end up being able to hold this point with being down. Just another sack, probably going to roll out again. I don't know, maybe we'll see a spy, a sniper. Scratch is going back to spawn, so we may see some sniping action.
Yeah, Scratch, very well known for his sniper, and you've called it perfectly. He is going to come up on Sniper. Soapymeister sacking and maybe just but actually Unicorn Wizard is in behind on Paniferous. Not going to be able to get the kill. They weren't watching lower, got in, good attempt there, but not able to find the pick. So it is still going to be an SVS Great Mage versus Scratch. 2 players that you would expect to snipe, and Scratch going to be winning that one with an opening headshot onto the Great Mage. Not going to rotate over towards the Shutter. Wanted to try and go for the semi-hero pick deep through Shutter, but unfortunately for him, Ali wasn't playing in that exact location by the dispenser, so wasn't able to get a read on that shot. But with a sniper, you can't let them keep taking shots because it's only a matter of time until one of them connects.
Yeah, and just gonna be a slow fight. 3 minutes still on this clock. Scratch peeking that drop down with the weird spawn Shutter fight that's happening on the side of the Great Mage and Scratch, trading some body shots and gonna kind of reset the scenario. Soapy getting picked, trying to spam that gun and lower. Unicorn Wizard taking 1v1 and just barely gets out, which at the end of the day is going to probably net absolutely nothing. But it's going to buy a nice solid 30 seconds off that clock. And for the side of Angler, pushing out of Snake last, unless it's a 4-man or 3-man advantage, is pretty tough. I think they will 100% be fine with a round reset if no crazy opportunity happens. So just another headshot ringing out. And there goes another pick. So that is another 30 seconds off the clock of just waiting for players to get here.
Yeah, Scratch. Nice shot onto Great Mage. We are going to see Soapymeister trying to go for something. Is probably going to get caught in here. Might be able to trade out onto Golden. No, Golden is going to barely be able to stay alive throughout that one. And like you said, that's just going to be another few seconds off. At this point, it's kind of coming down to it where if you are a GlobalClan, you might be starting to think, all right, maybe do we try and go for some type of exchange here? As Esper does find one on the Unicorn Wizard, it is going to be a trade out. Unicorn for Scratch, and so if Scratch comes up on Scout here, I wouldn't be too surprised to see GlobalClan go for an Uber exchange and just hope that you can take down the sentry gun and then play the post fight a little bit better. As he does come up on Sniper, the Uber is going to come in. Oh, it gets the drop onto Ali Soapymeister. Really great job there. And now, as long as they keep enough players alive, they don't lose anyone here on second, they should be able to regroup, come in with the Uber advantage. Golden wants to try and deny them that opportunity, but I don't think he's going to be in position to. Mig going to put up a few sticky traps. That's really going to be the only thing that GlobalClan have to worry about. They have to get in here. They have to make sure that they don't capture up second, because that's just going to be more time off the clock. Actually, they could let them capture it up, because that would just reset the round timer. So actually them capturing second here, not too big of a worry. They actually find one because of it onto Golden. This is looking very, very good for GlobalClan.
Honestly, them leaving that point with a lot of cap time gives them the opportunity to back at, but full ad push, Golden being down, this is going to be really tough, and it would really help out if the Great Mage got a little sniper pick here. Uber coming out, getting on that gun going down. Some cap time, Unicorn Wizard being picked off, and once again, a very clean pick, Scratch just being AFK on that point. And the last couple minutes really just felt like a pug. Everyone just was like, all right, so, I'm dead, and let's counter, and then we die again and again and again. And Soapy and really kind of putting up some numbers here death-wise, but great play on that kind of coordinated three-man, getting that drop down. And once again, getting a pretty convincing round. Hopefully we see a good mid here. And on the side of Mig, we are back on those normal stickies, so I'm a bit more confident in his ability to stop a push from the side of GlobalClan here. But so far, it's really just been double bombs onto the med of Dinko and hasn't really got much success. Changing up, bombing onto the demo, but no follow-up at all. Both soldiers shooting different targets, and it is just looking like a really bad mid with Soapy with a huge play. And on the flank, so much damage. They're going to end up cleaning up so many people. Ali getting stuck on that fence. Just barely not dying from the fall damage is probably going to get picked off, but Scratch turning around. And a great job from VO stalling out. But just the aggression on the side of Anglerfish not looking like it's really kind of netting any picks here. And they really need to try and mix something up if they want to have a good shot here.
Yeah, the double soldier bombs not really finding their mark. Ali being able to get out there is going to allow them to set up on second for an even Uber's stalemate. So that's kind of a silver lining for them. But we have entered a pause, and so hopefully, it could be a tech pause. I want to say it's a tech pause because they were having a bit of server issues beforehand, and I thought I saw VO kind of sliding around a little bit oddly. So it might be a tech, or it could be a tech from Anglerfish. Maybe they lose this round the next 90 seconds, and they got to go to the drawing board because we haven't really seen too much, kind of gameplay from them outside of just kind of losing mid. And then once you're on your last, like you said, it can be very, very hard to get out of it. Even when you have a couple of picks in your way. They had the demo down on GlobalClan, and they still weren't able to make anything work. So, getting those mids in order would be, something for them to maybe take some time and try and talk about.
Yeah, a lot of these mids, especially when Mig was on that quickie bomb, he was getting a lot of damage out, but the double bombs just turn into bomb the medic demo. Not any weak players, and I think if they can kind of sync it up a bit better and not just tunnel for the med, maybe take some high ground, find some players to pick, they'd have a better shot on these mids. But selling out for that med and them not cleaning it out is kind of just an instant mid loss, which we've seen 3 times in a row now. But once again on that last hold, and so far it's shown that GlobalClan has been able to kind of convert these stalemate positions and eventually get that pick with a lot of sacks coming from it. But eventually it does end up working, but hopefully this pause won't be for too long. It just does look like it's a tech for Golden's game stuttering. So hopefully we'll be back soon, maybe a restart. Otherwise, it's not looking great for the side of Anglerfish. And GlobalClan looking like that game against the wall was not a fluke, and maybe they've even refined it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. It's showing that, like you said, they had some idea of how to play this Snakewater middle, because they have tried to be aggressive, like you said, with their double soldiers, and even when the soldiers kind of get in behind and don't necessarily prioritize damage onto the medic. I think a few times Golden or maybe Unicorn Wizard did try and do that. They just get in behind and try and reinitiate once everyone pressures up. And, everyone else on Anglerfish did kind of try and take control of the point. They took a lot of ground. They got on top of the point. They got a bit of high ground as well. It was still Just really great kind of focus fire and play from GlobalClan to, even in that position, be able to get a few picks and then be able to force them out still. So at least for the meantime, their aggressive strategy isn't working. Maybe, like you said, if they focus over onto the weak players with their bombs instead of immediately going for the medic and demo, they might have a bit more success. But now they have to try and settle in onto this last hold. Last time they just kind of fell prey to, like you said, the chaos coming in from everywhere, all of those sacks one after another. And then the time before that, they got baited a little bit. Sometimes we are back. Sometimes, you do have an opportunity to push on to second, and that can be your downfall. You can just make a mistake there, and that, gives the opportunity for the attacking team to push in onto last. So it can be a very, very difficult thing to balance, but we're going to see if maybe Anglerfish can find it within themselves in this specific round to get off their last and maybe take some ground, take a point in this match.
Yeah, you really do need a mid win, and you can't. It's very hard to win a game, much less a round, without winning mids. And if you can't get that together, it's going to be very difficult. Soapy just going straight through the shutter and just two-rocketing the med. That is disgusting and should not ever happen. And he gets the most clean force of all time. So we're going to see another very quick Uber ad push. On the nice side, maybe Ali can kind of build up a decent amount of Uber for this last hold, but it's not looking very promising, especially with Soapy coming any second now. And it's been looking like GlobalClan's doing a great job pushing last. They get the gun down and they instantly pressure the point. And the soldiers and everybody on the side of Anglerfish is not doing a great job of reacting, stalling that point out, and not playing kind of for the win condition of stalling that point over and over again. This Uber coming in, gets the sentry dispenser down, the gun in the spawn by the truck, doesn't end up shooting anything, and two players, both soldiers, going down on Anglerfish, and everyone just exploding to one rocket. Soapy with a 3K there, and definitely looking like a very good ringer in here.
Yeah, definitely showing his worth. Someone pick this guy up, put him on a team. No, like you said, it was just Anglerfish not really able to stop the point. Their soldiers went down early there, and then everyone else was stuck in spawn. You saw what happened when they tried to go out. They got mulched, so on this mid, they're going to have to try and change things up, even though it was a tech pause. Maybe they took this as an opportunity to try and fix what was going wrong, as this time, once again, all eyes to see if they do try and aggress, and if they do, are they going to try and insta for Dinko or the demo, or maybe try and go for one of the weaker players? Taking a little bit of a high ground, just spamming across the way with Unicorn Wizard, just trading damage right now. No one immediately aggressing Esper over on the left side. Maybe just trying to play, by their kitchen. See if they can maybe bait someone in. Golden bombing over, and a much more passive mid from the side of Anglerfish than we've seen in the last last three mids actually. So definitely kind of working on things, but now they do get aggressive. Instead, they get in onto Umps. They get one pick. Vio's in behind. It's going to be trying to wrap around, draws a few eyes, and now everyone else on Anglerfish moving across the point. Dinko takes a lot of damage. Is going to have to use Uber just to save himself. I don't think they're going to be able to get anything with this. The counter Uber is coming out from Anglerfish. A little bit confused about that one. I don't think Ali was in any real danger, and I don't think they were in a position to get the players, but regardless, that is still going to be a mid win, the first mid win for Anglerfish.
Yeah, and overall, just really changing up, which I really like. Golden getting chased down by Scratch and Soapy, and is going to open up two soldier picks, which there's a slight window for GlobalClan to really get in. Soapy making some space, but the rest of the team not looking like they are ready at all to get in. But actually, everybody on the side of Anglerfish kind of playing back for the spawner, so the entirety of mid is open to the side of GlobalClan, and Soapy is just flexing on the rest of Angler, just jumping into two scouts, getting a kill, and from that, securing mid. And they clearly are not able to kind of handle the aggression right now, and if you can't, it's going to be really tough to kind of make plays happen consistently if something like that can just happen and open up the entire fight. But getting all the way behind, wrapping it is going to cause a lot of chaos, getting in onto Ali, some damage, surfing straight into Esper, the force coming out, and it's going to be a two-man, and Esper may get out. Not quite, but 2 picks for that Uber force is worth it, especially if GlobalClan can play this correctly and get the most from this Uber as humanly possible.
Yeah, Soapy over in Saw is going to be able to get a pick onto Unicorn Wizard. Great Mage, however, is in, finds one onto Scratch. before the Uber could be used. I wouldn't call it a drop, but it does. Oh, Dinko is going to get forced. Nice bomb coming in from Golden there. The flank not being watched, and they paid the price because of it. Now Soapy Meister bombing in is going to be taken down by Vio. Vio super weak, is going to have to wait for a bow from Ali, but they could maybe try and re-peek this before all the spawners for GlobalClan get your Vio. Going to be coming in through Cheese. Is going to get hit by again, taken down by Esper. So that's going to be one big already in the favor of GlobalClan. Everyone else on Anglerfish thinking better of it with Vio going down. They are content to stay on last, even though they do have pretty sizable Uber advantage.
Yep, Scratch back on that sniper, seeing a lot of success previously, so we're going to see a part 2 here, and decent ad on the side of Angler, and they're going to end up trying to peek lobby, but I doubt they're going to try and push out. It's a kind of a hard situation to get out of this last. The Uber ad is dwindling to about 30%, and it looks like they are going to end up taking it, having to bomb all the way in. They get the sniper down. Having some trouble getting into the window, ends up getting out, but Soapy getting a pick and being behind is going to make this so chaotic. Sticky trap in, double soldiers in, there's so much damage. If someone can pull this all up, it will be a confident round with the Uber coming out. But it's not the end of the world yet with Vio. This is so chaotic, but good job from Golden getting that kill. Esper going to last, potentially, but these spawners coming in. The side of GlobalClan kind of caught in this rough situation, and the med going down, somehow turning that into not a round loss, but a late med pick.
Very, very late indeed. You can maybe qualify it as 2 separate fights going on there, but it was just one long, ginormous fight. At the end of it, though, like you said, it is going to be slight Uber advantage for Anglerfish, and they have to once again decide if they want to do what they did last time, try and take that Uber out onto second. And as you can see, it can be very, very can go very poorly very quickly if you don't have everything in a line. But it seems with the sentry gun up, they might instead consider that it's not as big of Uber ad as it was, so they're just going to stay up on last and maybe try and play for another mid, which they did have a better success on last time.
Just seeing Soapy try and get into that wall bug for about 30 seconds, didn't work out. But once again, in this situation, last time Soapy just decided to walk in and force the med, and it worked pretty easily. Maybe he'll do it again, but I think the side of Anglerfish is ready for that. But Unicorn Wizard getting too greedy, peeking through lower, and right through drop, is just spamming the gun down, along with Soapy, getting a lot of damage on it, making some chaos, but great play from the players of Angler, killing both soldiers, and kind of nullifying that gun being down. Looks like Golden's going to try and peek, get something going, but sees nothing. So we're going to once again have that level 3 gun up and see how they're going to try and break this. So maybe we'll see some funny off classes, some funny shoes, and speaking of that, Soapy is on the man treads, which is a kind of niche weapon that you don't see too often, but it does have a lot of value on maps where you only have to do one jump to get in, because it takes away almost all the knockback you will get from something like a gun, a scout. It basically allows you to forehead straight into the medic, giving you about 2 rockets before you're going to explode so fast. But you will not be stopped.
You will not be stopped, so Soapy now has to try and find the perfect entry position to try and utilize those man treads to the best of his capabilities. Gonna be over by Shutter, immediately meets Golden, and is gonna have to think better about that one. Just gonna try and see Unicorn Wizard over towards lower, trying to see maybe they can go for a wraparound play. Soapy over on the top left is gonna go in now, gets 1 rocket onto Ali, gets another, but this time Ali not gonna use a good hold there. And a Soapy Meister admirable attempt, but Anglerfish going to be able to hold onto their Uber for just a little while longer.
Yeah, I think they realize, eventually if Soapy keeps going, he's probably going to end up making something happen. So they're just doing that. So maybe he'll spawn back up, and he is back on the man treads along with the sniper from Scratch. So somebody's going to make a play here, and there's about a minute left. So Ali just holding on, hopefully waiting for that round to reset. But we're going to at least see one more man tread sack coming in, along with the sniper peeking, which can't be fun to play medic on with happening.
No, definitely. A Soapy Meister does come in. Gets the drop onto Ali. That is going to be so good for GlobalClan. But what's not good is everyone else dying. They are going to have to back up all the way onto mid. Now, it's going to be an opportunity for Anglerfish to get in onto second. I think there was a headshot off from Vio onto
that was a big air headshot.
Yeah, it was really nice. But actually, speaking of Vio, he is up on the spy. And I think he is going to be trying to get in a position to get the stab onto Dinko. They probably aren't expecting it on GlobalClan. Kind of a little bit of a wacky timing, but it makes sense if he can get in the perfect area to get onto Dinko. And it seems like he just might be. The question is he going to have the timing to decloak? Dinko now on the point. They're moving maybe a little bit too fast for him to get in position. Instead, he might try and go for Esper. He doesn't get the cap. Now he makes his presence known. I don't think he's going to win this 1v1. It doesn't matter as everyone else comes in with the Uber onto last. Mig forced into spawn. A lot of cap time onto the point. They do block it. Scratch is going to get taken down. Nice stickies from Mig. And this might be doable for Anglerfish if they just get a couple more picks. Oh my god, nice rocket from Golden onto Esper. Up in the sky, but doesn't net him to kill Esper on the point. Might be able to get it, does get it, and that is going to be another round for GlobalClan.
You know, it's not over. Your prediction still can come true, but it's going to take some big wholesale changes on the side of Anglerfish, but an interesting spy play there. But so far, GlobalClan's last pushes just have been so clean. Whenever they have Uber ad, it is almost always a round win, which is very hard to beat, especially if you are not winning those mids, putting yourselves in a good situation. But once again, Mig back on those quickie bombs. I'd be curious to see what prompts him to switch back and forth. But this is going to mean that poke damage is going to be a lot more deadly, but the holding power is a lot less. But both teams kind of looking like they're opting for this really slow spam mid, except the Great Mage kind of shoving through kitchen behind, drawing some eyes, pulling two back, gets a lot of damage, not enough. Soapy bombing into Peel. The double soldier in, gets a lot of damage out into Unicorn Wizard with 3 picks. Ali with the scout, and it's just up, and it's not looking great. But great opening from the Great Mage, and then the double soldier bomb coming in and paying dividends with Uni getting that 3K and closing out that mid confidently.
Yeah, Unicorn Wizard pulling out some wizardry there, getting all of those picks, and now for the first time, GlobalClan going to be on their last, and we have to see if Anglerfish can replicate the success that GlobalClan have had pushing last. They have Uber advantage. There's an opportunity for them to get one on the board. GlobalClan have been able to do it 4 times in a row, so if you're Anglerfish, you definitely want to try and do it back. Use this opportunity to its fullest. They're going to get everyone nice and buffed up. Go in through lower. Are they going to go in through lower? They are. The Uber has been used onto Vio. It's going to be a double scout. Uber actually immediately wants to go for the point. The soldiers jump in to try and block it. They do successfully, but there's so much cap time. Someone just has to stand on it, and the medic does. And that is going to be the first round for Anglerfish.
Kind of a weird push, yeah, like you said, popping through lower in a double scout demo, flashing everybody. What it does get them is right to the point very quickly, and no one can stop them. That gun not even going down that entire time, and all the cap time coming out, really making it tough. And if that is a repeatable mid, this may be a little start for the side of Anglerfish, and if they can kind of replicate that, they're going to be at a good spot. Once again, that quickie bomb coming out, a kind of standard mid. I'm curious to see if GlobalClan is going to mix it up and just take it straight to them. Golden coming in. There comes the side of GlobalClan. All the soldiers jumping straight in. A lot of damage onto Dinko. Dinko going down. Ali super weak. Scout coming in. Chaos everywhere, and it looks like it's going to be a 3v3 on this mid. Vio very weak. Everyone kind of spread apart. Soapy going for the kill onto Mig. Vio going down, and it looks like it's going to be turning in the favor of GlobalClan with just Unicorn Wizard up against 3. Kind of fighting his demons in kitchen and kills Scratch. Anyways.
Unicorn Wizard in the back lines, just gonna try and be a nuisance for as long as possible. Maybe an opportunity to try and sack onto Dinko. No, it's just gonna try and draw as many people in behind as possible. Does go down over in lower, but that should buy his team enough time to get onto second. Maybe even try and repick mid if they want to. Golden finds an opening pick onto Soapy Meister, and they are gonna try and refight this, so it might be a mid fight. part 2. Electric Boogaloo and Great Mage both going to be traded out there. Crucially, GlobalClan don't have control of middle just quite yet, so they aren't going to have the closer respawns. Esper super weak, going to get taken down. Nice job from VOD, also going down Golden. Big bomb onto Scratch, and that should be enough to send everyone else from GlobalClan back, but Ali goes down to Piniferous's traps, and that is still going to be probably the mid captured up for Anglerfish, but GlobalClan are probably going to come right back in.
Yeah, and with that great fight, it is so unfortunate for Ali to go down with that trap, and it's going to basically turn this entire fight around. Huge ad coming in. They're going to get this mid cap. Ali is going to be able to get here somewhat late, so it's going to be on the side of Anglerfish to kind of make a play. Winning that 1v1 in Kitchen is going to close this out in a big air shot on the Golden, but the rest of Anglerfish getting out. They have a giant Uber disat, and they have no rounds to give. So 2 players down is most likely going to turn this into a free, if not very easy push into 2, which they are making it happen. With the Uber ad dwindling, unless they move right now, it looks like it's going to go even. Soapy in onto mid, get some damage, not enough to clean it up. But once again, in this familiar position, that has not looked good for the side of Anglerfish.
It has not. Every time they've been on their last, they have lost it. So if you are an Anglerfish fan, you got to hope that they find some way to switch up that tendency, as Soapy Meister peeking in through lower Scratch over through drop down, just making a lot of space, actually getting in kind of for free. Going in for a very big high bomb. Things bitter about it, is not able to survive. Very unfortunate there. Unicorn Wizard was in behind and does get the drop onto Dinko, not literally but figuratively, forces out the Uber from GlobalClan, so they are going to have to back up, and now Anglerfish, they can get onto second. Theo getting in through Cheese, the whole combo actually kind of getting in through Cheese. They do get in onto second unforced, and crucially, no one is in behind, so they've successfully gotten in onto second, peeking over towards Saw, and a good start, at least for Anglerfish, if they want to try and get back in this round.
The Unicorn Wizard constantly pushing that lower in that stalemate, and it does eventually pay off. A body shot coming off onto Ali, getting very, very low, barely not dropping, and Golden doing a great job stuffing the flank. They're going to trade 2 for 2, but if you're on the side of Anglerfish, you take that. That means a lot of the doors are going to be open. A big pipe on the Unicorn Wizard, and another pipe coming out onto Mig, and a headshot onto Uni, and the individual plays from GlobalClan is closing out this mid hold, and it's going to be a little sketchy if they still want to hold this, especially with that sniper pressure constantly coming out if you peek at all. And there's another one.
Scratch just takes down Veer, who's up on the counter sniper. Now the Uber does come in, tries to get onto Dinko, but Dinko gets just in the nick of time. Ali going to be able to leave through lower, should be able to stay alive here. So it should be even Ubers still, but it is going to be a player advantage for GlobalClan, so they can maybe try and go in, cause some chaos right here before everyone on Anglerfish have got all their defenses set up. Esper is in very deep, is going to get taken down. Unicorn Wizard very low over in lower, should be able to stay alive, had to dodge a spam rocket from Soapy Meister. But Scratch still up on the sniper, making his presence known with a nice headshot onto the Great Mage.
Yeah, just hitting so many headshots just out of nowhere. Another peek from Shutter, a 20% ad. I don't know if they know it's an actual ad to work with, but this sniper absolutely terrifying the entirety of Anglerfish, and another headshot onto a scout, just cleaning up another kill, making it more chaotic. And on the side of GlobalClan, undying, which will allow for Anglerfish to have some more room to work with. Golden trying to stuff out that lower push, but Ali's alone. Soapy just peeking through into the sniper sightline, forced to pop, and that is not good at all, especially with no gun up. There's not much to hold against this Uber ad push that's going to be coming in any second now.
Yeah, at this moment, it really kind of falls on GlobalClan to mess things up, and with Scratch taking down Great Mage again, I don't think they are going to. Now, they are going to come in. The Pyro wants to try and block them out, is doing an okay job at it, at least buying a lot of time, but the unfortunate thing is there's only 3 up on Anglerfish. Unicorn Wizard does find one. He's going to have to find a lot more. Mig has to find a couple, but not going to be able to do it. They're all falling one by one, and that is going to be the 5th and final round for GlobalClan.
I think Scratch can only headshot scouts, because I think I saw Scratch shoot 10 shots on the med demo and didn't hit a single one. But, you know, hitting the shots that matter, cleaning it up, and a really, really good showing on the side of GlobalClan. Anglerfish looking a little sloppy, but they did have some shining moments. But overall, Soapy definitely showing like he's a very good substitute to have for a match like this.
100%. Just kind of pulling out a lot of his stops there, and they looking at the logs. He was definitely, it definitely showed. 327 DPM, highest in the server by far. Not to say that soldiers can't do the most damage, but it's not as common as it maybe was a decade ago. But still, really great stuff from everyone on GlobalClan, because sure, even if you have someone popping off like Soapy Meister, that doesn't guarantee you a victory at all. You still have to be very coordinated in your last pushes, which they were, which comes down to more of a team thing, and also their mids. Wasn't just because of, Soapy Meister. It was just really good coordination, being able to kind of kite out maybe the misplays that were happening over on Anglerfish. So really great stuff from everyone on GlobalClan. And, for Anglerfish, like you said, they definitely had a lot of moments, but at the end of the day, they just put themselves in a almost unwinnable scenario by losing the majority of the mids. And then when they were on last, it was just a mistake or an unwatched doorway, and they just kind of let someone in onto their medic and get the force more often than not.
Yeah, actually, surprisingly, it did feel that way, but apparently, looking at the logs, GlobalClan won the first 3, and then Angler won the last 3 minutes. So surprisingly, they did tie, but it looked like as soon as they stopped just doing that kind of set double bomb and actually started slowing it down, seeing picks, seeing advantages, it went a lot better for them, and that second half definitely did feel a lot better than the first. But when it's going well, a lot of times, a lot of these matchups where it is a team with kind of the bigger name players, the more invite veterans, as soon as it's going well, one of those players make a big play and absolutely destroy the entire momentum and set it right back to last, which did end up happening. But overall, a very entertaining match, especially with some weird gimmicks, some snipers, some man treads, seeing some crazy plays happening out there. And an exciting game. Hopefully we'll see some more rest of the season. I'm excited for the next matchup between these two.
Yeah, it should be a very good one. And for a GlobalClan, they now go 3-4, I believe. Anglerfish now 2-6. But we have another, maybe the match I'm most excited for, actually. Tomorrow night, it's going to be Black Swan versus the Chuds. I'm very, very excited for that one. The Chuds, if you didn't see recently, they had a few good match wins against Froyotech in a kind of a single-day cup tourney that goes on every month. And, even though they weren't able to get first place prize, they did take a few maps off of Froyotech. So the Chuds, very excited to see how they do against Black Swan. And they were also able to beat the Wall in their upper bracket final game. So I think against Black Swan in an actual RGL match, it should be very, very good. Black Swan having had a fairly good success overall in the season so far. So very excited to see how that one plays out. We're going to be live with that one tomorrow night. So stay tuned, get ready for that. But as far as this match goes, any final words, any shout-outs, Marmaloo?
Overall, good game, Shout out to the usual. Shout out to my girlfriend, friends, Shout out Soapy, big game out there. And everyone who's watching the rest of the season. And like you said, probably a pretty important playoff preview that we're going to be seeing there.
Yeah, it should be very, very fun to see how that one shakes out. I will mirror the majority of you guys. Your shout-outs to all you guys watching. Shout-outs to the players for playing. Shout-outs to Dolphin for being an amazing guy behind the scenes, doing everything. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for us tonight. This was Anglerfish. Oh, never mind. It's not it for us tonight. We got one more thing. Shout-outs to the merch. We got some amazing designs. Buy them, get them, wear them. Check them out. They are seasonal, so if you see one you like, make sure you buy it now because it will be gone in just a few weeks' time. So definitely keep an eye out on that. Otherwise, I think now for real, it is going to be it for us here. It was Anglerfish versus GlobalClan. GlobalClan winning that one 5-1 over on Snakewater. Tomorrow night, we're going to be live with the Chuds versus Black Swan. So until then, have a good night and see ya.